Good morning, everyone, and greetings to everyone for today's program on the FIRE International Summit 1.0, organized by YouthUp Global South Asia, 3Q Sutantra, and the Department of AI and ML, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, speakers, friends joining us all across the world for this international summit this morning at Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Before we begin with the whole concept of what is this FIRE Summit all about, I would like to introduce the organizers of the day, which is very important, who have brought in the conceptualization of this event as a whole. YouthUp Global South Asia is an international community that was founded in 2021 as a collaboration of YouthUp Global, based out of Lagos, Africa, and Boden Foundation, set with a vision of building the largest Asia and Africa connect to the youth. The theme Uplift South Asia is all about uplifting youth in the South Asian community by innovatively educating them through technology in the post pandemic world. Here, execution is focused on the novel projects based on the Global Sustainable Development Goals, which is the 17 SDGs, which is of the present focus by the United Nations. Our next organizer is 3Q Sutantra, which is an edutech company based out of Bangalore, Karnataka, the Silicon City of India. And it has been recognized as the best edutech startup of the year 2021 and one of the top education brands of the year 2022. 3Q serves in improving the skills of technical graduates in the field of infrastructure management services through specially designed industry certification programs. Some of their decent initiatives are 3Q Swadhya, 3Q Jobs, 3Q Samarthya, 3Q SIC, which is the Skill Incubation Center that has been established. 3Q has been focusing in the last 1 or 2 years among the importance of the faculty development programs, the FTP workshops, which is the present realm for training for teachers in the universities of Karnataka, and have been closely working with many top vice chancellors of the country. KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology Coimbatore is a third organizer of this FIRE International Summit 1.0. KPR Institute is one of India's premier institute in engineering and technology, which was established in the year 2009. The institute has evolved to its present status with a resourceful faculty team of academic repute, highly brilliant and resolute student community, consistent technical and supporting staff, and an efficient administration. KPRIT is known as a leading center for innovation, entrepreneurship, and industrial consultancy. We welcome you all once again. I'd like to invite my co-organizer and colleague, Mr. Naveen Chandar, to also this webinar. So I believe this entire conceptualization must not be there in the concept notes where we have been brought about to our audiences and speakers. But this concept of 5i started a year back when it started through a road trip. We were in conversation to one of our events with a DRDO senior scientist. His name is Dr. Sushil, and we were discussing about what can we do for the youth of the future in the scientific world. And that's when we came up with the concept of the 5i, the 5i, which indicates over industry, institution, innovation, incubation, and investment. We plan to synergize this by connecting all the dots together by creating an ecosystem for the future. 5i has been a focus since the beginning and will also remain as the future focus as well. And this webinar is to highlight with a greater ecosystem of KPR Institute. We are glad KPR could take this idea of us and inculcate forward to the youth, their students, and their faculty as a whole. And we look forward to more such premier institutions in the country also taking this idea forward and innovating themselves much better. And this is the whole concept of connecting industry and academia together. Before we begin with the inaugural ceremony for today, I would like to also welcome our chief guest, Dr. Indra J. Parikh ma'am, who is the former dean of IIM Ahmedabad, and also Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam, who is the guest of honor, principal of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, and also our beloved panelists who are present here this morning with us from different countries and across the nation. We shall have a portfolio of the videos of YouthUp South Asia, 3Q Sutantra, and KPR over the work that has been done over the last couple of years for the information of our audiences. Thank you.
சிறகை விரிக்கும் கோவையின் பறவை நான், தரமே எங்கள் தாரகமே. கரிசல் பூமியில் கானம் பாடிடும் கதிர்களின் உலகே, பருத்தியின் விளைவை துகிலாய் மாற்றிடும் எங்கள் கரம். ஆலைகள் வளருதுங்க, மனதில் அன்பும் பெருகுதுங்க, கல்வியின் பெருமையிலும் எங்கள் நிறுவனம் அரும்புது. ஒன்றாக பண்பாடுவோம், வெற்றியை ஒன்றாக கொண்டாடுவோம். ஒன்றாக பண்பாடுவோம், வெற்றியை ஒன்றாக கொண்டாடுவோம். புகழை வரவேற்போம், சோலை பூக்களை ஆலை பாக்களை உழைத்தே சரமிருப்போம். சேவை செழிப்பில் உயர்த்தே எங்கள் செல்வம் கொடிக்கும், நாட்டின் வளர்ச்சி முயல சேர்ந்தே நாமும் உழைப்போம். ஒன்றாக பண்பாடுவோம், வெற்றியை ஒன்றாக கொண்டாடுவோம். ஒன்றாக பண்பாடுவோம், ஒன்றாக கொண்டாடுவோம்.
I'd like to invite Mr. Naveen Chandra to present the opening remarks of the event. Naveen, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all present here. It's a great opportunity to bring once again with a great initiative, with a great thought, the 5I. So the thought about the 5I, I think Shreyas have already mentioned how it started, and it started on the road, and the traveling is starting from today, right? So the ideology of the fire is all about how we can bring the ideas among the youngsters to the products, to the market. So that's a basic stuff what triggered in our mind. The FII stand for industry, institution, innovation, incubation, and ultimately the investor. So these five Is has to come together to bring any ideas successful to the market and to the benefit of the society. So this is the basic thought of this. And yes, today we have a great panel discussion. Before to that, it's a great opportunity to hear once again from Dr. Inda Parik, madam, and also we have Dr. Akila Muthu from KPR Institute of Technology. So the theme for the day, as we all know, it's a five eyes. Let's bring all five eyes together, and yes, it's the start of the journey from today onwards. And this series will keep going on. We will be collaborating with other engineering colleges across the nation, and also we try to bring all the five eyes together to bring a very good product out of um, a, an ideas from the youngsters of the nation towards the beneficial of the society. So this is a quick open remarks for the day, and I think Shreyas, we can kickstart with the next plan.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for your words. Now we shall begin with the inaugural address by one and only Dr. Indra J. Parik ma'am, who is the chief guest of the event, former dean of IIM Ahmedabad and founder president of Flame University. Namaskar, ma'am. Welcome to the FIRE International Summit 1.2. Thank you for gracing our summit.
Namaste, everybody, distinguished speakers of the day, and all the invited guests and the students of KPR Institute of Technology and Engineering. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I must say, Shreyas and Naveen bring the current generation's enthusiasm, hope, and aspirations of tomorrow. And they are constantly at the breaking thresholds of new events and what is happening new in the country and across the globe. And they are very good in their social skills of including institutions across the country to bring them to this forum. So thank you very much, both of you. Thank you very much, organizers. And as I was saying in the morning, your energy is very infectious because you bring so much enthusiasm, so much passion into what you are doing, and you very much believe that this should be done. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, ma'am. We shall just go
Thanks,
ahead with
ma'am.
the formality of introduction for everyone, and we shall have your short opening remarks on the importance of the FII Summit. Dr. Indra J. Parekh is the president of Antardisha, the Directions from Within, a private entity creating a space for individuals, collectives, organizations, and institutions to have a dialogue to discover themselves, to review their past, to reflect on the present, here and now, and renew themselves for the future, which is an innovation by itself. Professor Parekh, as I've mentioned, is the founder president of the Flame University, and she has been in Flame, Pune from 2005 to 2015. She has been involved in creating the academic mission of holistic and liberal arts education and shaping Flame. Today, she's being known as the mother of liberal arts in India, and I'm proud to be one of her students to start off, the concept of liberal arts under her guidance. She has been involved also in conceptualizing the models of management development programs anchored in thresholds of life, life space and workspace, life roles and entity, which is also known as the ALRI. Her focus is on transformation and lifelong learning, development, and growth. She has been a consultant and conducted diagnostic studies for organizations. She has designed and conducted leadership and institution building programs in the public sector, private sector, and multinational organizations. Professor Parekh is on several boards of companies today as an independent director and is the founding member of the Sumeda's Academy of Human Context. She has done her MED from the University of Rochester, New York, USA, and the doctorate from Gujarat University. She has been at IIM for the last 3 decades, which is almost equal to 30 years, and the dean from 2002 to 2005. She has taught at INSEAD, Fontainebleau, France, and Texas A&M University, where Professor Parikh has been honored with several lifetime achievements, both nationally and internationally, for her contribution in education, HR, and her work with national and international journals as well. Well, she has also published a book very recently and have also gone through a couple of her authored journals, which is a must read for the youth today. Professor Parikh is engaged in also developing a leadership model for the conceptualization with many fellowship programs and many greater academic institutions and philanthropic organizations. I'll welcome Dr. Indra ma'am again for gracing your presence in today's summit. We would like to hear from you on the importance of liberal arts and your experiences to the students of KPR and all other youth from joining from different parts of the nation and across the world. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shreyas. See, the education is the soul of the country, and education is the soul of the young generation. What we do for last few hundred years, our education has been contaminated with the colonial structure of education, which only wanted employees and not innovators. But if we look at the Indian scenario in the past, Indians are very much entrepreneurs and engineers. There are people in the early stages of the country when so many monuments have been built which required precision of engineering. Now, we did not have engineering colleges then, but you can see that it has been built on engineering principles, and some of them are marvels of the world. I remember my father. My father was not educated much. He was about eighth class pass, but he had the engineering skills. When they built their factory, textile mill, he was the one who designed and shaped the entire factory construction and the production process from the input to the output in such a way that it would take the least amount of time. And when I recall back his ideas, he had engineering skills, not taught but inherent. So Indians, by and large, have engineering skills. It's in their DNA, and invention and innovation is their forte. But as I said, it got completely squashed and destroyed by the colonial education. And now these youngsters are reviving so that our young students get back in touch with their innovation and inventions, which is in their DNA. They just need a little bit of help. What help they need is engineering education per se is good, but it does not focus on human development. Now, what is liberal education? Liberal education is a holistic education which brings confidence to the students and also releases their positive energy, free energy, and it is the free energy which can contribute to creation, innovation, and invention. If a young person can get in touch with the free energy and not be inhibited to look for affirmation and approval from outside and from books from the Western knowledge, but look at itself, it can bring so much innovation and so much new technology that the young man would himself or would be surprised what he could do and not do. Young people can do a lot if they get in touch with their confidence, and liberal education does that. It does that by giving you a whole broad spectrum of education, which opens up their mind and then connects disparate events and makes it into a whole. Now, invention is that if you can connect disparate, completely disconnected events and make it into a meaningful whole, you would have developed an invention. And that is the learning which the liberal education provides. For example, it provides science and environmental science. It provides social science. It provides humanities. It provides global studies like the business, and it provides focus on performing arts. Performing arts is a aspect of creative expression, and when you can do it in a human form, your mindset works in a creative expression of new ideas, new thoughts, new concepts, and new theories. It is the ability to say, I want to do it and I can do it. And then and then you have the some of this exposure to the broad spectrum or streams of knowledge which are available right from the ancient times. See, our wealth of knowledge is immense. We are an ancient civilization, and we were once upon a time the most prosperous nation in the world. And that was because of the young generation who could take risks, who could go on an adventure, jump on a ship and without thinking and go across the world and come back wealthy by innovative ways of managing businesses, trading, and seeing what is important needed in other places. Our country has been known for entrepreneurship, and our country has been known for sailing across the seas and discovering what lies beyond the horizon. And that is what the young people ought to be thinking about. Confidence in themselves and proud of the civilization and looking way beyond the horizon to see what is going to happen, and then be prepared for it and prepare the concepts, theories, uh, new frameworks, and work on the inventions and innovative. The whole concept of liberal education in education came to me when I was looking at the education system in IIM. When I was teaching a course, what I discovered was IIM had one of the best students. But when I asked them, write 10 good points about yourself, write 10 good points about the country, they could write very few good points about themselves and very few good points about the country. And that disturbed me quite a lot because I said, how is that possible? Ours is such a great civilization, and so many centuries we have done so much, and we had so much wealth that over 200 years the whites could not steal everything we had, and they of course could not steal the spirit of our experiencing knowledge. And uh, and that is what we have been left with, and I think that is what we need to multiply. So, if engineering students can get the concept of liberal education, a whole new horizon of education, and multiple streams and how they relate and form come into an ocean and have lots of gems inside. You see, you can find lots of gems in the ocean and lots of pearls. And if we can create that environment in our engineering institutions, the students would be just bursting with ideas and bursting with innovative products. And of course, there are institutions which support the ideas into finally getting into the marketplace. So, this concept of 5I is a very important concept, and I think it needs to work together so that these five different points can be strung into a pearl and finally come into a beautiful necklace of innovation, technology. And we are good at technology. We solved the problem of the 1999 to 2000. Our technical people solved it. So if they can solve somebody's problem, they can also create something new. And I think this is the confidence and this is the enthusiasm which needs to be given to the engineering students, And the country has immense hope and immense stake in the engineering students, because if it is only through that new enterprises will start, which can become unicorns. It is only through those that our wealth will increase, and it is only through engineering students who will start enterprises where job markets will be created. So country has a lot of hope, and the Prime Minister has always emphasized that the engineering will take us forward, the science will take us forward. Look at the space work that we are doing. I think it is time that there should be some invention by the engineering students which would be accepted globally. And that is my hope, that you combine engineering with liberal education, which will open up your mind, open up the free spirit of learning, and go beyond the horizons, be very confident, be very rooted in the culture, and therefore only see, if you are rooted very well, then only tall trees can grow. If you are not rooted in the culture or in the society or in your own country, the any tree will be quite shaky, and the first storm will blow it away. So I would urge the young engineering students to be first very much rooted and appreciative, and be positive about the country you belong to, the family you belong to, the educational institution you belong to, and then free your mind to invite all the new ideas which will come your way. Having said this, I once again thank the organizers for inviting me, and I'm very much appreciative of the work which both Shreyas and the institution is doing. Shreyas and Naveen together make a very good tandem team to create new ideas, and this is the fourth new idea that I've seen coming from them. So God bless you all, and God bless our country and all the institutions which we are a part of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable inputs. I'm sure this summit will take off a great start with all your words. It is a saying that, in the civilization days, there were books we have read like Ramayana and Mahabharata. And we have heard of the great stories of all these, achievers over there. At that point of time, they were not just equipped with literature as well, but also were equipped with skill training and many other things that made them multitasking in life. This liberal arts education is not to just prepare the students for education, but also to prepare themselves for life. And this I've been hearing from Indra ma'am ever since I started my journey since my undergrad with liberal arts from Indra ma'am's guidance. So thank you, ma'am, and I'm sure this will add in a greater value to the youth of KPR. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Now
Thank
have
you.
the address by the guest of honor, Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam. I would request Naveen to please introduce Dr. Akila, the principal of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. Over to you, Naveen. Thank you.
Thanks, Shreyas. Uh, so it's a great honor to present Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam to the forum today. Uh, Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam is an eminent and distinguished academician. Currently, she's serving as a principal of KPR Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. A true visionary leader, um, and she accomplished a scholar, and she has held numerous pivotal positions in renowned higher education institutions throughout the Tamil Nadu. Dr. Muthu Ramalingam's prominent area of expertise encompass deep learning, neural network, and evolutionary computing, reflecting the most significant thrust area in the field of area today. Her unwavering dedication to academic and institutional growth is evident that through her contribution is in establishing cutting edge research and development centers, fostering international collaborations and organizing of total 23 enriched programs, including workshop, conferences, and exhibitions. Um, Her numerous accolades includes the prestigious AICTE Career Award for Young Teachers and the Young Achiever Award from the Institution of Engineers today, India. These honors testifies her exceptional dedication and commitment to the world of academic and research. Dr. Muthuramalingam extensive international experience includes a postdoctoral research endeavors and forging a strategic network and foreign institutions, which have played a crucial role in elevating the academic, research, and innovation ecosystem within her institution. As a committed member of esteemed professional societies such as IEEE, IE, IGEN, ISTE, and IET, she has held influential positions such as um, chairman of Women Engineering Society and faculty advisor for student chapters. Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam's impressive career and exceptional contribution to the field of engineering and technology continue to make a lasting impact on countless students and institutions, solidifying her legacy as a trailblazer in academic community. So it's a great honor to have you here, ma'am. The pleasure that to hear words from you. Over to you, madam.
Good morning to another present here. Indra ma'am, Shreyas, Nandini, Karthikeyan, and my own KPRIT students and the friend from Africa. Education is an enabler for economic and social progress of any country. Education should be experimental and give a personalized experience to all the students. It should be enhanced through innovations, mostly digital innovations, advanced physical spaces, and creative atmospheres that will foster hands on and I would say out of the box thinking from the students and also from the faculty. This is what I have learned. There are so many administrators and educators across the globe utilizing innovation to better the experiences of their students and the performance of their institutions. So KPRIT is also one of the institute which aspires to bring the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem into the institution. So how can it be done? So the brainstorming started before 3 years. So we went through the various curriculum across the globe, which has transformed many of the top institutions in USA, Europe, Australia, and UK. We found that when it comes to learning, it should be a complete and holistic. Only that comes only when a student is able to effectively perform and fulfill their responsibilities and duties, not only to the college, their self, family, society, and above all, the nation. So we thought that we should have a goal which will enable today a student to be a good citizen and a responsible human being who is well aware of his or her potential and competence. And then came the life skills. A degree alone in a paper or an technology person, a digital person is not a whole human being. Life skills are so important, and it's one of the 21st century skills uh, um, components. So we all know about the 4 C's. So before 3 years, we took all the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. So how to formate this 21st century skills in the curriculum, and then comes to the teaching and learning, assessment, evaluation, and then come the complete program of the 4 years. So nearly it took 3 years for us to formulate for our own stakeholders and bring it a cultural change in our faculty and the mindset of the students. For this, KPRIT supplemented the existing teaching learning with the edutech partners like Coursera, NASCOM, even MATLAB, then followed by L&T EduTech. We had so many EduTech partners who are pioneer in the industry, so that our faculty also learn along with the student with the latest technology. So everything started with teaching and learning process. This active learning, we see it as a kind of, I mean, the best of the kind of learning. Gone are the days when teachers lecture throughout the class. For example, we have a 3D printing lab where the 3D printing enables the students to get a hands-on experience, encourage creativity in the higher education, and help students to gain hard and soft skills to prepare them for future work. This especially 3D printing lab, it helped the local community also, where local business owner was not able to develop a simple part which can be printed in the 3D printer lab, so that the students learn while they learn. So that concept was initially done before 2 years. So like this, the journey started, and we came with the innovative SDG Innovathon framework, which was called as FISC. We took it from the right to left, the acronym, the right to left. This Innovathon framework is designed to help students understand the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and how they can use their engineering skills to contribute to these goals. As I said, UN SDG, all the 17 goals, we took all the 17 goals. Fourth goal is quality education. So starting from the curriculum design till their evaluation, this all 17 goals are embedded in our curriculum in a way of awareness program, in a kind of an event, in terms of topics inside the syllabus, or a complete one credit program on SDG. Everything was related, was made relative to UN SDG. This is how it started. Then we started participating in the Times impact ranking for SDG. So that gave an awareness how important is SDG and why United Nations is uh, insisting all the stakeholders to do something on sustainable development goals. So in our curriculum, we were able to have few topics in the beginning, and then every topic in the class, even during the lesson plan, we listed down the SDG, why you are studying this, and what is the outcome expected from studying this topic. Like the earlier days, it was not only about technology or engineering. So we taught SDG in everyday classrooms. All our programs and sessions inculcated SDG. And here we started a digit transformation, initiative, which is paperless office. We have just started, and carbon net zero, along with our global movement. So everything was part of curriculum, and when we have it as a credit, the students thought that, oh, something I have to do something, I have to take a credit on this. Then a seriousness came in that. So now we are little forward in educating the students with not only technology. Now they are socially conscious about what they are doing. This way we are very different from other colleges in doing in having the mindset of the students for everything for the society and the community. So Shreyas will go for the slide. So KPRIT SDG Innovathon framework. This also started when we faced a bigger challenge. 2 years before, we started a program called InnoSense, innovation, a sensible innovation. For that, initially only 10 projects were presented by the students, even after forcing them. They're not interested towards innovative projects in first year, second year, or third year. They think that the project is only for the final year. So we had to brainstorm again from the beginning why we are forcing them and why the students are not interested in doing some innovation from the first year. Then second year it was 52 projects. Even then we were not happy. Even the faculty did not have the mindset that we have to help the students in innovation. Then from third year we had one or two projects, but then there was a little more creativity and innovation. And then the magic happened. In that 52 projects presented in the innocence competition, 3 of them pitched for the business forum, and they had the opportunity to become a startup. Then we thought, okay, so this is the mantra we should follow. Why not we bring into the curriculum? So this curriculum, especially, I would say it's a competition-based model which creates and nurtures the strong innovation ecosystem in KPRIET. And as I said, students participated actively, and our outcome is yet to be achieved, where we think that there will be a maximum outcomes through publications and IPs. I'll say why publications next. So next is the framework, which is the simple model where you can see the complete framework, how we have designed this innovation framework starting from the first year till the final year. The first one is the idea sprint. First year, we kept it so simple and so stupid, so that the student should not be afraid of thinking that, am I going to become a businessman? Am I going to become a startup? No, if we tell all those big words, they get confused, because every parent wants them to be risk free, get a job in some company, that's all, get a salary and settle in their life. This is what the parents think, and they want it. They have educated the students all through the school education like that. So we do not tell the students that you can become a startup, you will become an entrepreneur in the first year. We tell them that just think, just only think about some idea, a social problem, wherever you see, at your home, on your street, or when you come through the bus or in the college, it can be anywhere. So this is what they have to do in the idea sprint. Find a problem. It can be very stupid. Later, it can be improvised with the supervision of the mentor. So for this first year, when we made the curriculum for all the 4 years, we actually needed 45 mentors. We cannot go for an external mentorship, so that we identified 45 faculty who are with very good attitude and socially conscious. So we mentored all the 45 faculty who can mentor the students from the first year to final year. This is how we started. Then we introduced a credit course for this year 1 idea sprint. Now it is going on. The first semester is completed and we are in the second semester. First semester is really very awesome, because we can see the jealous in the second year, third year, and final year, and they are asking so many questions why we did not have this opportunity. So now we have come up with a model for the second year also, in a fast track, how we can go with the idea sprint and the design sprint club together, how we can do about it. So in the first year, the students were given a kit from the college. We did not mind spending for the students in the first year. And then they have completed the the idea sprint. All the awareness has been given. UNSDG awareness is completed, and then idea they have already pitched. The innocence is completed, and they are very, very happy. The energy, I was very happy to see the energy in the students. And again, this is not only about a department based group. What we did was, we have 1024 students in the first year. We clubbed department, we mixed the departments, and then the students from AI, mechanical, then chemical engineering students, all are different people, and the mentor also will be from different departments, so that the minds are different, they can innovatively think. So this is how it's started and going on. And the second one, design sprint, what they have to do is, they have to create a proof of concept of what they have ideated in the first year. Suppose the first year they were not that great, and they need for example, they need a different what I would say is, they can take a different problem. That is also possible. They can ideate a different problem, and come up with the proof of concept in the second year. Again, this also has a credit. Then in the third year, it is proto sprint, where we call it as proto studio, where the product can be technically fit or it can be a market fit. Why we say technically fit? Because they can go to the final year project and then go for some job placement interview, or they can come up with the publication and they can try for higher education, or they can go for a competitive examination through national or international competitive examination. For that also their resume will be so good. So this proto sprint is about not only about startup or becoming an entrepreneur, it is inclusive. And then fourth is the maxi sprint, where they can pitch their project in peer reviewed journals, conferences, file a patent. And aspiring students can become a startup which can give assistance. The incubation cell in KPRIT will give assistance for them to become incubated in our center, or they can be incubated in many of the prominent centers in Coimbatore, Chennai, or elsewhere in India. So this is the 4-year component which we have come up with a different model, where we are able to see the difference in the students, their attitude wise. Now they are started to thinking, why not come up with idea and do something different than others. And as I rightly pointed out in the beginning, the learning also we join hands with the edutech partners, and we do have departments or the centers over and above the curriculum. For example, Center for Liberal Arts, a few programs are running, and Center for Management, where management courses are there. And we have 5 of industry CEOs who are visiting faculty. We have international professors who are visiting faculty, and a few of the members come monthly, once or twice, who mentor the students. And the Saturday, I would say it's a complete no day. Totally, they'll be involved in club activities and other things which is nothing to do with academics. It is completely non-academics. So the students can choose what they want to become. They have a basket of things. They can choose whatever they aspire for. This is how we have built the ecosystem, and this is what KPRAT is all about. And it has taken 3 years of hard work with the entire team to bring it into a model like this. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable address, and thank you for also bringing about the importance of what KPR has been doing. And we are glad that you have already aligned with the work of what FII is already conceptualized with. So we can say that the pre-engagement took a successful, step one step ahead in terms of seeing an institution coming up with a great exemplary, viewpoint in terms of the best practices that have been brought about. I've been hearing from our social media comments last evening in terms of how engineering students should start inculcating 5i now onwards. And we are glad this will also bring in more synergies together. In the forthcoming days, we are glad that YouthUp South Asia and 3Q Sutantra, under the guidance of Indra ma'am, would like to collaborate with KPR Institute and bring in more such opportunities for the students and more such greater technologies in the present growing innovation world we are. So we are in the world of 5i where we are prospering towards. And that is where we come up with terminology for the entire conference, which is known as the think tech, which is think tank plus edutech, which is known as think tech. And with this think tech, we will be soon introducing another conference on this idea as well very soon, where we shall start conceptualizing it on this aspect with all stakeholders involved into this. So, in this regards, I'd like to thank our dignitaries, Dr. Indra Parekh and Dr. Akila Muthuramalingam, for gracing us in the inaugural address this morning and inspiring a youth for the 5i Summit. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We shall now proceed towards a short break. where we shall have some portfolio of some videos being showed over the work by KPR, 3Q Sutantra, and YouthUp South Asia. And then we shall have the panel discussion in a couple of minutes. Thank you so much.
Shall I leave?
Ma'am. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
This afternoon, as we proceed towards the next agenda for the 5i International Summit 1.0, we shall have the panel discussion on the convergence of the long-term synergies to achieve the 5i goal. And this is to discuss with experts who have joined us from different academias to understand over how this can be taken forward for the youth through different examples and experiences that can be brought in for today's international summit. I'd like to invite Dr. Karthikeyan Saminathan, who is the moderator for the event. He shall be moderating it today. He's an associate professor, NASCOM brand ambassador, and HOD AIML, and associate director skilling and innovation at KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. I'd like to welcome Professor Karthikeyan. Over to
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you, Naveen. Today is a great day. So we started 5A International Summit on 22 April 2023 at 10:30 a.m. So I welcome all the panelists who are from various states and country. Also, I would like to thank our chief guest of the day, Indra Parik ma'am, and uh, Akila Muthuramalingam, Principal, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology. We have two great guests today. We have started this event. The first guest always focusing on creating the academic vision and holistic and liberal education towards the growth of the nation. Another guest, she'll be completely working on innovation and entrepreneurship and international research and collaborations aimed towards academic institutions. So with this note, we have started a panel discussion. So we thought of arranging a panel discussion followed by the inauguration. So today we have four guests with us, four panelists with us. Vinod from Coursera, then Saloni from Central Education, then Ravinder sir from Blockchain Council of India, then Prince from Nigeria. The title for the panel discussion is The Convergence of Long-Term Synergies to Achieve our 5i Goals. First of all, I would like to see this topic in a different way. This title, A Convergence of Long-Term Synergies, is a kind of alignment of industry, institution, innovation, and incubation and investment towards achieving a common goal. So far, we have discussed various academia, industry, conclave with towards a 3I and 4C's 21st century skills likewise. So this is a unique summit, international summit. So here we'll be focusing on all 5 I's, how to achieve this 5 I's. So it is not a different goal, it is a common single objective. If you note closely, this 5I goal is not just about achieving a single objective, but rather than about it is creating an ecosystem which nurtures innovation and growth. Mainly, this 5I goal is a comprehensive framework that aims to promote a sustainable economic growth and development by fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and collaboration across different sectors and domains. This 5I goal frameworks or process involves aligning different stakeholders and partners around a common vision and strategy and leveraging their strength and expertise to create a value and impact to our ecosystem. Whatever we do at the end, whether we are creating a value and impact to our system, that matters. So this type of convergence is an essential, it is a need of the hour for success of any project or initiative nowadays. So with this remarks, let us move on to the introduction of our today's panelist. First panelist, I would like to introduce Mr. D. Vinod, Enterprise Director, Universities Coursera for Campuses. Mr. D. Vinod is an accomplished leader with 14 years of dynamic career with proven track records of scaling and augmenting business in higher education stream with respect to online education and employability solution. He did his MBA from School of Management Studies, Anna University, Guindy, and pursued his MSc Applied Psychology from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. He also did his e-commerce from PSG College of Arts and Science from Coimbatore, and he is currently pursuing his PhD from management background. Also, he was a branch manager at Mafoy Randstad for 3 years. Then he was designated as a head for enterprise sales at Focus Academy Coimbatore for 7 years. Then later on, he was also a national manager at Wiley for 3 years. So currently, he is in the post of enterprise director for the universities and Coursera for campus. Also, he has done various certification and licenses, which are from Wiley Design Thinking Practitioner, People Analytics from LinkedIn, and Wiley Lean Six Sigma Practitioner, Leading Strategically LinkedIn, and Becoming a Thought Leader from LinkedIn. With this great introduction, so we welcome you, Vinod sir, on board.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Next, I would like to introduce Ms. Saloni Parik, a project manager, Central Square Foundation, Gujarat, and technocrat at heart. Saloni is a graduate in ECE from 2015 to 19 batch from Vishwakarma Government Engineering College, Gujarat Technical University, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. When a love of electrons and protons and semiconductors pulled her towards engineering, love for communicating with people and giving back made her gravitate towards volunteering for the National Service Scheme NSS since 2015. She has been a part of multiple community development initiatives in sectors like education, healthcare, climate, and SDGs, etc. For her volunteering effort and innovative initiative design, she has been conferred the NSS National Award by the Honorable former President of India, Sri Ramnath Govindji. So in 2020, Saloni was awarded with the Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, and the IIM Bangalore, where she also studied public policy and management in the year 2022 under World Bank funded project Sankalp of Government of India. As a part of fellowship, she is currently working with the ministry towards a ministry to understand the skilling ecosystem of India and ways to create opportunities for sustainable livelihood till the last mile with focus on apprenticeship and promotion and creation of the skill entrepreneur. Saloni is presently focusing on the effective implementation of Nipun Bharat Mission, a mission to achieve foundational literacy and numeracy goals prioritized under the National Education Policy 2020 as a project manager for Central Square Foundation for the Department of School of Education and Literacy, Government of Gujarat. When the world is changing rapidly, her focal point as a woman in STEM is to facilitate the reach of technology to everyone's home, to every child, so that their vision can broaden and they become a part of interconnected net of the world. She aims to advocate for girls to follow their dreams and wants to see them choosing STEM education in addition to swaying technology and fashion designing and other conventional courses they tend to pursue due to their societal career. For her exemplary work, she has been facilitated by CII as She Rise Emerging Women amongst women in social entrepreneurship. Let us hands put together to welcome Ms. Saloni of our on board. We welcome you, Saloni. So next, I would like to introduce our third panelist, Dr. Ravindra Vadapalli sir, Chairman, Blockchain Council of India. So Mr. Ravindra Vadapalli, Chief of Compliance for Forensics and Fraud Investigations Solutions, and has over 20 years of industry experience in legal and enterprise risk management. He is a chairman cum chief legal officer at BCI. He did his bachelor degree in commerce from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Education, Andhra Pradesh, and masters in finance and accounting from Kakatiya University. He has pursued LLB from Kakatiya University and faculty of law and PhD in business administration and management from University of Colorado Springs. He was a university rank holder. He also has received an award of honor for delivering excellence in blockchain technology at CT University. We welcome you, sir. So next, I'm happy to introduce our last panelist, Mr. Prince, Principal Environmental Health and Consultant, FCTA, Government of Nigeria. Prince is a graduate with he is a graduate with postgraduate and master degree in environmental health management specialization in a public health and environmental production from Lakote University of Technology and Nigeria. His engagement with government jobs is more than 20 years of job experience, both in health sector and environment sector under health department of Nigeria. He played significant roles throughout the COVID-19 in the hit of pandemic as a part of frontline healthcare worker on the essential duties for a year and participated in a case investigation, contact tracing and advocacy, health education, enforcing of COVID-19 safety protocols. He led the team that was appointed by the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory in the capital city of Nigeria to contain COVID-19 by bridging the chain of transmission. He is a public speaker, lecturer, and volunteering with so many organizations such as Tony Ilmalu Foundation and UNV Online, an Africa Environmental Health Organization, and UP Initiative, Nigeria Red Cross Society, and Slum to School Africa. Prince had won in his first international fellowship fully funded program in 2017 and traveled to Japan courtesy of Japan government under Japan International Cooperation Agency at Yokohama for training on collection of data, analysis, dissemination regarding solid waste management. As a first Africa postgraduate awarded fellow at Naparo Fellowship India 2021 on leadership entrepreneur, as well as the 2022 postgraduate fellow from Anand National University, India, with a specialization on built environment. Let us put your hands together and welcome Mr. Prince for onboard from Nigeria. So I welcome everyone for the panel discussion. So we have four panelists from across the nation, one from the Tamil Nadu, another from Gujarat, another from Andhra, so then another guest from Nigeria, South Africa. So I would like to place a common question to all the panelists. I would like to start from the Vinod. Mr. Vinod, what are the key skills and competencies that are currently in demand in the job market, and how can individuals acquire them? What is your insight on about this?
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this introduction, and then happy to be part of this initiative here. And my best wishes to the team also. So, if we look at from working with both corporates and campuses, the main demand for the skill is the digital literacy here. Maybe COVID has taught us how to become more digitally literal, and then the millennials are more into the digital literacy part. But still, what I mean by digital literacy is from an employment point of view. So anyone who's getting into a fresh job, the basic skill that is required in the industry is the digital literacy part. So followed by that, what we have seen as a trend is your AI, because let's say irrespective of any stream or any of the disciplines a student is coming out or they are finding a job here, AI is something that is trying to capture the market. And what I mean here is the deep skilling into any of their areas, may it be AI or any of the multidisciplinary streams they are looking at. The deep skilling is something that all the industries are looking at. Even though an individual is okay and then open to adopt or learn any of the other technologies, deep skilling into their own technology is something which is essential here. But coming back to what has been the trend here, we see that digital literacy has been the first requirement of any of the recruiters that they're looking at. And second, the problem solving skills. What I mean by problem solving skill is, are they able to understand a particular problem, may it be programming or may it be your civil or mechanical? Are they able to solve a problem using the skills that they have learned during their academic period, and also whatever they have learned during the deep skilling part? And followed by that, obviously your analytical skills, communication skills, management and leadership skills. We have seen that as a requirement in the later stage part here. But if you ask me how these skills can be acquired by an individual, I think if he is from the academic background, and let's say if he is a graduate, obviously during his academic period, I know the academic schedule is already tough and then it's already jam packed. But still, whatever they have learned during the academic period, maybe sometimes it's for the norms and the policy aspect. Not every campus has been so liberal and then as a framework like KPR and then few other institutions. still they'll have to abide by the UGC policy, AICT policy, and then there is no much of openness in terms of adopting multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary. So during the academic period, they just get introduced, and followed by that, the other options are your digital libraries where they can get upskill or get into edtech company platforms and then start deep skilling yourself here. uh, in way of that, I would like to appreciate and then initiate what we have also brought in collaboration with institutions like you, is something called as the skill set feature. So what we clearly understand is, if we leave an individual out in the market or in the platform to learn anything they want, it's scattered all over the place. But if we actually dedicatedly understand, okay, what do you want to become? Let's say a student or a learner wants to become a blockchain specialist, or let's say a data scientist. Then we thought, let's have a feature in Coursera wherein they go there to the platform, pick up a particular feature, and then they take up a pre-assessment test and understand the current sub-skill set to become that particular profile. Let's say it is data scientist, for example. Then we will know what are his current skill set, and based on that, the platform will suggest based on that AI-driven one, and the platform will be able to suggest the courses for them, starting from 10 hours to even 60 hours to even 6 months course here. So as in they get skilled up, the tag also gets moving on to the benchmark that is expected as by the industry here. So likewise, we developed almost 400 skill set, maybe a accountant, a marketing analyst, a technical one, a circuit one, even a site engineer level. So I think we are also trying to accommodate all this, and the sources are plenty here. They can start accommodating any of these ones, whichever is more affordable and viable for them. And followed by that, I know the market is much more open. The universities are open towards providing internships or even your participation in your hackathons, and then interacting with more of your industry people. It's all openness. So I also know that there is also a patent option, a research option that is open to the student also, where they can go to a level of finding something and then accommodating as part of their career path here. So I think all it is available in the openness of Indian university norms and in the market of it. Student have to pick up the right one, whichever is more convenient to them, and then start accommodating that towards the learning aspect here. So this is what I wanted to share as a lecture.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vinod. Yes, you rightly pointed out. So digital literacy and deep skilling and problem solving is nowadays very important. So because lifelong learning is nowadays is one of the biggest keyword which is playing around the world. So I hope the Coursera is always focusing on lifelong learning,
Sure.
and you are doing such an amazing job to the entire community. So thank you, Mr. Vinod. Next, I move on to the Saloni. Saloni, since you are working with a different community, so what do you feel about these key skills and competencies that are required in the current job market?
Namaste. Thank you for asking the question, Karthikeyan. As Mr. Vinod rightly mentioned about the importance of digital literacy, plus we are discussing about lifelong learning, I believe that education and skills are a topic, and I have always firmly believed that all of us have a T-shaped learning curve in our life. I totally believe in the saying which says that know something about everything and everything about something, and this is always a journey which never ends. And although we quote someone as expert, but it's always that experts are also learning. And under this domain, from my experience as a Mahatma Gandhi National Fellow from the past 2 years, where I was working with the Ministry of Skill Development, and also I'm currently working into the education sector, there are three key skills that have come out to me as a person that even I need to learn, and overall I see that people need to learn. First of them being effective communication skills. We have thoughts and ideas in our head, but sometimes we feel with the fear of judgment or with certain social barriers, we are not able to put it out to the world. When we lose out this fear with experiences and practice, that is when we become effective communicators, and that is the first skill that I feel is very much important in today's world, and one of the important 21st century skills too. Second is conflict resolution. When we are working with different people, as I believe that robots and machines have not captured our world altogether and we are still working with people, I feel that there are many a times where we are having different opinions on the same table. at that point in time, when we need to come on a common solution that is the best for the project that we are onlooking or the problem that we are solving, I believe conflict resolution is a very important skill, which includes understanding our own temperament, being polite, and having those skills where we are able to negotiate with people. So this is the second skill that I feel is very important. And third, as Akila ma'am and Indira ma'am already mentioned, that we are a generation and our country is of people who have always been problem solvers, engineers, and every human being, I believe, internally is a leader. They have those qualities, but sometimes due to the accountability factor or the responsibility factor, we tend not to take an initiative. But when we take an initiative, we portray our leadership skills. That is when we feel that we are someone who is a problem solver, and we do have it within us. So the third skill that I believe is about initiative taking. These are the three skills, that is effective communication, conflict resolution, and initiative taking. The three qualities or the three skills, I believe, are very much required in this generation to overall develop ourselves as a human. Because when we are talking about the five eyes, one eye that I would like to add myself is the eye for an individual. When we develop ourselves as a holistic individual, wherever we go, in whichever field we go, and give our whole self to it, we are always going to give it a good opportunity of growth. So these are the things. And now when we talk about how we can nurture or cultivate these skills, as a student myself, I have always found that being a part of certain clubs or organizations, for example, I was a volunteer at NSS, that taught me from take it communicating with the community to making reports to graphic designing to understanding finances. All these multiple skills I have learned during my tenure as a volunteer. And currently also I'm part of certain organizations which helps me teach certain behavioral skills and life skills that we need to develop. So when we are having students and undergraduates as our key audience today, one thing that I'd like to put out is during our undergraduation period we have a very good time in joining a few clubs that we love. For example, if we like photography, we are open to join a club related to it, maybe dancing or any other hobbies that we are very much attached to. That thing is very much important. Alongside that, one point in time, I also realized that I want to understand how our society is functioning, how our government is functioning. So, in today's generation, fellowships are a very good opportunity for each one of us to take 1 or 2 years of experience into the social sector and understand how things are functioning, what are the real time challenges, and what kind of mindset do we need to cultivate when we need to become a problem solver. So, when we say that, when I talked about these three important skills, only understanding and knowing them through books is not important. We can only cultivate them when we experience it. So I also urge people to travel. I also love traveling. So when we travel, we meet new people and understand different things. And with travel and experiences, we can nurture these skills that are important. Hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly. So the communication is one of the most important skill in 21st century skills. Since we can see the regular day-to-day life in regular class, students are, even though they are very technically strong, but they are unable to express their thoughts. We started from the even we are doing lot of seminars, presentation, idea pitch, hackathon, macathon, but still there will be some gap. So the communication on the above top of the communication, we build all the technical skills, but communication is one of the very very important skill. So another one, the fellowship. So the majority of the students community, they are unaware of the student fellowship from different institutes. So we should aware of it. Thank you, Saloni. So next I will move on to the Vadapalli sir. As academician and industrialist, sir, how do you see, how do you think, like, what are the skills and competencies are required for the current job market, sir?
Yeah, well, thank you, organizers, and thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a good program. Well, to answer your question, let me put through my own life experience. And being a chairman at Blockchain Council of India, I have seen the knowledge transition. When I joined blockchain trip at Majid Al Futtaim in Dubai, at that time we were looking at only blockchain full stack blockchain developer. In fact, it's whoever could develop a blockchain, we were paying them, and it could be on plain Hyperledger or Ripple or whatever, Ethereum, whatever. Develop a smart contract on Ethereum, fine, and here is your money, and we were paying about $10,000. Then, over a period of time, the world has the world has witnessed that the blockchain is damn slow. It is very slow to retrieve information, a piece of a driving license offense. Basically, if it is on, look at Estonia, it's a totally blockchain country. In Dubai, all traffic penalties are on blockchain. Then, when retrieving that particular information, we were in need of cloud computing. So we said, okay, we'll blockchain alone will not do. Let me plug in cloud computing. Then to fasten the the blockchain. Now still the solution did not come through. Why it did not come through is that it has to be integrated with various IoT applications. Alone blockchain and the cloud computing will not help. So we plugged in IoT applications. Now in IoT applications, you have over-the-counter applications, where people can use blockchain over the counter. So what puts blockchain over the counter to the customer satisfaction and customer utility, and to start with, and then the satisfaction, is by integrating blockchain, cloud computing, and IoT. So what we call now, it's blockchain cloud of things. We don't call blockchain alone. So today, any blockchain expert who knows only blockchain will be unemployed. Nobody will recruit him, or they will recruit probably at a entry level. If you have blockchain with cloud computing and IoT, yes, you're welcome. Now what I'm saying is that we have this transition. The most important thing is the students need to observe the knowledge transition. How fast, what is the velocity of the knowledge? At what rate the knowledge is transforming itself into a different shape? When blockchain initially started, so-called, we must have heard Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, somebody, some ghost name. He has put up some ghost name and some white paper where he has used blockchain technology in developing Bitcoin, okay, clubbed with cryptography, etc. Well, now from there it started, and today the shape of blockchain is completely changed. It is BCOT, and in fact, if you look at Aadhaar system, our own Aadhaar UID system in India, when Aadhaar was initiated, it was not on blockchain. Aadhaar 1.0, Aadhaar 2.0, no. Aadhaar 3.0 today, it is on blockchain. Why? Because the Aadhaar is integrated to PAN card, voter ID, gas, bank account, whatnot. Probably hundreds of services and government welfare schemes, Dwakra loan reimbursements for women, and self-help groups, microfinance, everywhere the Aadhaar is linked. So what is the load that we are looking at? On one UID Aadhaar number, there are hundreds of linkages that are trying to pull at a time. So you need performance, and thanks to Indian government, great job. And today blockchain is on on cloud computing IoT applications and integrated to UID, FASTag. So what is that we need to observe here? How a student is capturing the transition of knowledge, and he is there with absolute precision. That yes, today is BCOT. Now we are talking about blockchain, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Now we are talking about 4.0. What would happen in 4.0? Other day, Pichai was mentioning that yesterday we had a few people from US and Canada. Then so they said, we are talking about integrating the BCOT with AI. So what will happen then? So blockchain is a science that would be on fingertips. So that means where it started and where it is actually proceeding, and would it terminate at a particular point? No, it won't terminate at a particular point. Like ERP, for example, the SAP, if you look at, people thought it would terminate at a particular point. It did not. Oracle DBA solutions, various versions, terminate at a particular. Today we have Oracle blockchains. It did not terminate at a particular point. So the termination of knowledge uh, happens in some verticals, but in ABAP there is a termination of knowledge. JD Edwards, one word, there is knowledge is terminated there. This knowledge, we are talking about industry 5.0 onwards, industry 4.0, 5.0 onwards, the skill set, whatever you have, it will terminate if you do not transition according to the industry vertical growth. So what is the growth transition? Where you stay. So basically your speed, your mental speed, not a physical, your mental speed and the technology speed, they have to converge. The moment they converge, you mint money. You will not, any BTech will not monetize his degree. Here we are talking about what? At the end of the day, what we are talking about is monetizing the knowledge. Now, when you will monetizing the, of course, attitude is important, communication skills are important, excellent. They're all required. Otherwise, you cannot work in groups. They're all required. But then the key to monetizing the knowledge is this. Today, in my introduction, I was saying that I moved to Cybercrime International Investigation Council. I look after the forensics and I closely work with police and investigation agencies. What is happening there is even blockchain is getting compromised. So you need forensic science. You need you don't need just the analytics. You move away from fraud analytics to fraud forensics, automating the capturing system, fraud capturing systems that banks have already implemented. Banks are implementing. So this is the risk part that you need to cover up. So, here is the knowledge now. The knowledge, the transition, the convergence, the risk part. If the knowledge is getting tampered somewhere and the fraudster is entering, so you stop the fraudster. So, I would like to show you, this is one of the book I have been reading. This book actually says, whether people are able to see this, it is about cybercrime, how we combat cybercrime. So very, which I have not realized that it would come to India so fast. I used to purchase this book in Dubai airport or specifically order from Cambridge. Today, we are seeing this particular book, combating cyber crimes, at any bookstore. So what is happening there is that the knowledge, how the knowledge is getting into the over-the-counter point. Well, this is it, and Dr. Karthikeyan, and thank you very much on the panelists. Thank you very much. It's my honor that I am amongst highly knowledgeable panel, and this is it, what I wanted to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. As you rightly pointed out, in the digital era, the emerging skills are very, very important. We cannot stop with only blockchain or IoT or AI, ML. So integration of emerging skills is a need of the hour. Also, the technology is changing at times light speed. So we need to change immediately. So if you are unable to adopt the technology, again, we'll be out of the market. So that is the point which you would like to understand from your talk. So knowledge and transition of the skill transition. So it's very important. So next I move on to the Prince. Prince, as you are from the public health sector, So how do you see skill set and competencies are required for the current trends, even compared to India and Nigeria?
Thank you so much. Actually want to make an observation during the introductions. You actually mentioned South Africa. Nigeria is from West African country, and the biggest and the most populated country in Africa, of more than 200 million population, and the 7th most populated country in the world. So I'm actually from West Africa. Thank you. Yeah, regarding to what we have just said, I think we need to do more in the area of technical capacity building. When you look at the issue of the Western educations or the way some of the countries that have been colonized, it focuses more on the theoretical aspect. So we need to do more. When I traveled to Japan some years ago, we were taken to a kind of teaching exhibition center where you have the children between the ages of 4 to the age of 8 or 10. They are not just teaching them for teaching them sake, but there are exhibition centers to catch them young, for them to be able to assimilate fast, to be able to disseminate theoretically and practically. In most of the countries all over the world today, you see the students, both the young and the youth, graduating, but the practical knowledge is not always there. Take, for instance, working from the ed sectors on environmental ed sectors. I can switch between the two, either to work in environment or to work in ed, because I was coming from the background of an environmental head. Depend on the government direction. That approach requires technical expertise, not just reading the book. When we hit the heat of the pandemic of COVID-19, all over the world, we are having an issue of what we need to do. So technical experts play a significant role. For us to be able to achieve much for the current and incoming generation and the present youth, we need to diversify, to improve on technical innovations, to improve on our institutions that can build students on technicalities, know how to do this job practically. Yes, you have your BSc, you have your PhD, you have professors. We are saying, come and do this practically for us, because we don't know how to do it. Even in some classes, you know that some students will be struggling. They've read it, but they just want somebody to show them sample, to be able to help them in the area of their research. This is what we need to do more. Because when you come to many organizations today with your degree order, they say, okay, this is your job responsibility. They will have to place you on job training. Why do you need job training? Because you are not taught from the school, you are not taught from the student. So we have some institutions now that are now trying to see how they can navigate and go back to what they used to have in 17th, 18th century, where there are limited education, but massive technicians. In some areas today, in some countries today, especially in America, we have some of them who are not that much educated, but they inherited technical or technician aspect from their grandparents. That is why you are seeing innovation in making of cars. When you look at some of these people, many of them may not be a degree holder, they may not be master degree holder, but they can innovate a new design. They will now incorporate those who are academically sound to come and help them to develop such initiatives. The youth are struggling today because they don't have any technical handwork they can use to support their knowledge. If we are able to build some of the technical institutions, some of the innovative institutions, some of the a kind of an environment where people can easily learn, they will now combine both practical and theory. Now we have massive number of youth, you say, unemployment all over the world. How are we going to promote the incubator? We can only promote the incubator when people learn from the background that they are just moving, they are graduating, and they're able to switch. Whether they got government job, they get government job or private job, they can decide to be an entrepreneur. They can decide to be a startup by themselves. But what do you want to start when you don't have basic knowledge? This is the challenges in developing countries. This is the current challenge in Africa. We have thousands and millions of youth graduating every year, but they have limited technical capacity to be able to discharge and become independent. Hence, they want to be reliable on what government is going to give them. So we need to change this scenario, and I believe Asia and Africa have a common relationship. When you look at cultural background, it's completely different from Western system. The way we dress, the way we approach, the way we do things, it is cultured. So we need to go back to the basics and see how best we can develop this. Because having visited Singapore in 2019, and also previous knowledge in Japan, and probably 2 3 years study now in India from Narupa Fellowship, first African awardee, and at the same time in the Anand Fellowship. I've realized that technical innovations, we have to develop it, we have to do it by ourselves. How can we do it? You have to start learning from the youth, from the child. Japan is doing that currently. The more we're able to do that, the more we're able to get the youth engaged and take off the unemployment across the street in Africa and all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. So such amazing ideas. So for everything starts with proper teaching and learning, I hope. So that we have to learn technically. So we have to do that. Then promoting the incubation and startups and learning. So that is what everything is. It will come and converge with the one single point is a learning. So learning is a lifelong learning. At the same time, so learning, we have a lot of flexibility nowadays. So whenever we want to learn something, we can have a learn. So we have a learner flexibility like a Coursera, NASCOM. There are many online platforms, digital learning platforms support us in learning. So learning is not a big deal nowadays. So, but whatever we do, there should be it should have some value and impact to the individual as well as the community. Next, I would like to move on to the Mr. Vinod. So, Vinod, I have a question. So, what are some of the challenges and opportunities presented by remote work and virtual learning in addressing the skill gap problems? So, how do you see this scenario from your Coursera perspective?
Okay, that's a great question. I think that's need of the hour also, Dr. Karthikeyan.
Yeah.
So let me first touch upon the remote working part, or what would be the challenges and then what are the advantages part. So like we know, what companies have also understood is they cut down on the overhead cost. Instead of setting up offices, instead of having more overhead cost towards that, they're still okay to give a hike to the existing employees and ensure that they work great. So I've seen this with few of my colleagues also who work in the IT segment and other non-office segments here. So that is one in terms of cutting down the cost, and then again reinvesting on the employers L&D and then their skill base here. That is one. Second, in terms of let's say the productivity, if it is a remote work, or let's say even if they're working from the homes, what we have seen is there is a lot more productivity because there is a clear set of KPIs set, and then the employers work towards it, which becomes very easy for the employers here. Third is employers also feel that the employees have a better healthy, wealthy, and then a better lifestyle, because end of the day, everyone wants to stay with their family and then spend enough time with the family, which is more affordable and then viable in your remote kind of a thing. But if you again look at the other side of it, the challenge aspect of it, the challenges are many, because even when we all work during COVID, we all know that there is no connect between the other cross-functional teams, which is a greater challenge here, because uh, that is more important, right? We'll have to understand, we'll have to see people physically for a betterment of understanding and a better connect. So that is actually missing. All our breaks and then lunch hours where we chit chat and then speak about their social beings, all this is something that is being missed in your remote kind of a culture. Apart from that, if you ask me, as an individual, sometimes they will feel stressed and then burned out, and then they feel there is no connectivity or there is no social life for them. So that is something what we have seen as a negative. But I think slowly that is being addressed, where they start working as a workstation, and then workathons have been improving at the company level, so that at least they meet up once in a month and then have more get-togethers. Moving on to the learning, which is like day-to-day basis we do it. So what we see as a advantage here is, let's say a student, let's say like Prince says, best of best content is available to everyone. Let's say a London Business School or an in-seed content is again able to reach to the remote parts of, let's say at Bihar, or even let's say at down south of Tamil Nadu. That's something amazing. A student or a learner can learn something that has been globally renowned and then acknowledged. So that standardization of the content is something that is great. And every learner learns at their own space, and you can't actually push them on the classroom mode. That is very difficult. But let's say if it is a virtual learning, he can learn on his own space because it is on a async mode, and then few of the platforms are integrated with all your environments, and then your hands-on experience becomes much more better. All your 3D models and your simulators are actually making a quite lot of difference here. So that is in terms of advantage part here, the content part, and then your async model, and you're learning at your own pace. And let's say even from your academic point of view, a student learning, let's say AI for 45 hours, he will only understand what is AI, not a in-depth learning of it. So again, the virtual learning will help him to deep skill onto that aspect, which I have actually covered in the previous question also. So these are the renowned advantages or recommendations for the online part. Again, there are challenges because sometimes when they're doing the virtual learning, they feel they're not connected or there is no motivation for them. After 30 minutes, they get lost. So this is something we also face as a platform, right? Most of the learners who take up a course, they don't complete it, few of it. So if I look at the percentage of Coursera, at least for an example, during COVID, it used to be around 80% completion. And immediately post COVID, when they resumed back to the physical, our percentage of course completions came down to 72%. But now, last 6 months, I can see that that has increased by another 12%, and then we are slowly marching towards 90%. So, which means there is a motivational factor which we introduced, and then that is getting better here. So, one example I would like to quote what engages the learner part here. So learner feels after some 10 minutes or 15 minutes, if there is a quiz or a check on that particular area or aspect, that is more interesting for them. So instead of having a 15-20 minutes video, we cut short that to a 7-minute video and then have a quiz here so that there is more interaction there. And then we introduce the discussion forums, which means that there is a particular forum which is live and then they can go and chat there also. So again, now thanks to chat gpt also, where we have introduced chat gpt and Coursera learning. uh, Again, one example, let's say there is a transcript in Coursera for all the courses. You copy that and then paste it in your chat gpt AI. You wanted to have a summary of all the complete transcript of which is coming for 6 months, you get the short scripture about it. So that is one. And let's say second, you copy paste your mechanical content towards that particular initial stream, then you are able to relate, and then chat gpt can give you points towards it, so that now you don't have to do the complete course. If you wanted to understand the summary of it, you can still use chat gpt to do the learning here. So using this, we are also trying to bring in course builders, so that as a faculty or a learner, they know what to learn, and then they have a structure for creating their own learning platform. So few content from few universities, few content from few industries, they can create their own learning, and then they can get certified from there. So all these things we are also working so that it becomes more motivated, and then they're more strategic towards what they're learning here. So I know there are challenges. They feel they are disconnected, but this connection is something what we are trying to bring in. And we are also trying to bring in employment opportunities. For example, someone who's completing the course, we are thinking what is, should be a motivating factor. One, he gains a skill. Second, he is actually getting upskill, and then he is able to get promoted at a particular company. For a student, he will get placements. So we thought we will also introduce placements. So now a student who is completing a micro credential, there is also a placement assistant that comes there, so that we link them to our corporates. They also get the employment opportunity. So these are the three motivating factors we felt the virtual learning should be able to bring in, and then we are trying to bring in here. And thanks to all faculties who give this periodic feedback, and then we go back and then create something and give back to the society here. So overall, I think I should have covered the benefits and then the challenges of this learning also. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod sir. So such an amazing thought process. So after Chat GPT, so what do you say? So we definitely we say more than challenges, there are opportunities are more and more.
True.
So irrespective of the domain and area and the technology. So thank you, Vinod sir. Uh, so next I'll move on to Saloni. Saloni, what policies can the government implement to help bridge the skill gap and create the opportunities for individuals and businesses, and how the NEP can be helpful in achieving this 5 Is? What is your opinion on about this?
Right. Thank you, Karthikeyan. So, I believe that NEP is a beautiful, well curated document which focuses on the holistic learning of a human being. And when we talk about five eyes, they have already included the five eyes into it with an importance of institution strengthening, where individuals play a major role and the accountability and responsibility we take onto ourselves does play an important role. When it comes to policies that we can use to fulfill the skill gap, I've always believed that, and I've seen in the past 2 years, I don't feel there is a lack of jobs in the market, and I don't even feel that there is lack of skills in people. It is just that when we talk about the bridge and we talk about students knowing about the opportunities and the industries knowing about the skill set of students, I feel there is still, uh, there are many efforts required to build up this bridge, and where platforms like Coursera help, as in if we are upskilling ourselves and when we connect to certain industries, it does help us in utilizing our knowledge, and giving it to someone or something or a project. So that is where such online platform help. And when it comes to policies again, I believe that for startups we do have policies related to Startup India, we do have into skilling Pradhan Mantri Kaushalya Vikas Yojana, and these are certain short term skilling courses that are provided by the government, where when we talk about the rural youth, they can leverage these courses and upskill themselves, and then through with the help of the government they can employ themselves, to begin with as apprentices, which are 1 2 year duration employment tenure, and post that with the experience and the skill sets that they acquired on the job training, they can go further in life. So these are the policies. Then when we talk about startup culture is really very much growing in our Indian context, and fortunately our students who are from Coimbatore are very near to the Silicon City, and I believe that we should leverage the incubation centers or the mentorship that is provided in our cities. For example, I'm in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and we are having certain incubation centers with the universities. So their internet is a very good source of helping us understand what are we interested into. For example, agriculture is the sector, or digital technology is the sector, or blockchain is the sector, for example, I'm interested into. Then who is a relevant mentor who can guide me what should be my next step? So mentorship, I believe, is very much important, and that we can leverage with the help of networking and connecting with relevant individuals. Along with the things that I have mentioned, I have lately realized as a student that there is some importance of slowing down in everything that we are doing. In the generation that we are living in, we are very much fast paced, and we need to learn this, we need to learn that, we need to do many things, where we rarely go into depth of one thing. So, for instance, if we slow down and go deeper into one sector of knowledge, that would really help us. And maybe that can lead us on the way of being an expert onto something. So, slowing down is something that I have, brought out as a summary of all the policies that I have studied and the work that I have been doing. So this is the overall thing that I have mentioned. And alongside that, our experts, as they are present here and they are into technology, I believe that whichever profession we are interested into, we shouldn't just limit to technology, but the profession we are interested into, how to relate it to technology. May that be into any form of creative arts, but we do have a technological platform for the same. So how should we upskill ourselves with any of the online platforms, or maybe with the help of certain mentors, and then bring out our optimal outputs for the same. So this is something that I bring out of all of these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Saloni. Finally, as you said, we need to connect all the dots, right?
Yeah, through that.
So, yeah, thank you, Saloni. So, next I would like to move on to Ravinder sir. So, Ravinder sir, how this fintech has impacted our lives, and what are the different examples of successful blockchain implementation in various industries, and what can we learn from these use cases? What is your idea, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's well, talk about success stories in
Yes.
fintech. Well, when we address fintech, we actually talk about various payment solutions and redemptions. Well, what has happened in the recent past, the we call it as fintech has moved a little farther, and we are talking about redemption solutions. What are these redemption solutions? Basically, financial redemption. What are these? If you look at Policy Bazaar, okay, they started with selling insurance policies, and they have developed beautiful financial technology applications, fintech applications, and pretty good. Now they have come up with Loan Bazaar, where you can, go for taking advantage of selecting a cheaper loan given various interest rates in the market. So, what is that kind of fintech solution which is the need of the hour and which is actually happening is the entire financial intermediation. If you are putting it in integrating with the technology, there comes the real advantage. We are, in such a stage that our financial intermediation is still 50-50 in India, and the best industry examples, if you are asking, well, we have a number like all the wallets that you are seeing. In fact, UPI itself is the greatest example. Itself is a mega fintech solution. The risk of wallets. Now, coming to financial intermediation in fintech, the wallets pose great amount of risk and frauds. So, any fintech solution to be trustworthy, we need the web space to trust the fintech platform. The players need to understand that we have surface web, what we usually play up, and then we have the deep web, the second level, and the dark web, the third level. So whatever action that you're doing on in fintech world, in deep web and dark web, the iotas are left. There are footprints. Now, if you are talking about such footprints being captured by the regulators, uh, there comes the challenge. I have known very good small microfinance banks. They would like to lend money through loan apps. That's a fintech platform. There are so many loan apps. People take loans through apps. They have committed suicide. So what is the because of various disadvantages to it. So the regulator has to play a very big role here. That is a major thing. So what is happening in Indian fintech market is the unscrupulous players enter. If you look at the fintech market in Netherlands, if you look at the fintech market in Luxembourg as well as in US American fintech market, regulator plays a strong role. And you have this the fintech surveillance team, which is there within FDIC. Our Reserve Bank of India has not come up with such kind of thing. No, you have 1038 call center. You call if something happens to your. Now, some scam happens on a fintech platform. So, now what exactly we need in India? We need a fintech platform that can encompass all financial intermediation, various intermediation, stock market intermediation. We have a broker. Broker is replaced by various stock market apps. Wherever the broker is there, it is where financial brokerage systems are now captured by the financial technologies. When it comes to over-the-counter market, now fintech retail market is very big. Is very big, but the problem is again the how far India is geared up for the criminals who enter into the financial. When you say finance, starting from Harshad Mehta days, you remember that there are scams that do happen. But then when it comes to fintech, one should know that the scamsters are around, and move very carefully, very, very carefully. So therefore, you need forensic technologies also in combination of in combining with financial technologies. So here we are in such a situation that today a fintech MBA fintech grad, his average salary is hardly 8 lakhs, 6 lakhs sometimes. It's pathetic. That is very bad. This is a reality today in B schools. MBA fintech program, you pay up about 8 lakhs rupees for 2 years, or 6 lakhs to 8 lakhs is the average fee, or 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs is the average fee. He's not even making half of it in the initial 2 years of his career, and then he gets. So who to be blamed there? The government. The government should come up with, okay, we have courses. Other day I read Sundar Pichai's article, and he cannot sleep peacefully when he thinks of AI, a full-blown AI. So what we are talking about the similar kind of thing here. So too much of financial technologies on retail space will trigger too many scams. And 5G being there, the youth today, they need to understand, if you try to use fintech without complete knowledge, you will end up in problems. You will end up in litigations. So this is the fintech part. Now coming to the genuinity and the best fintech companies, I've already quoted all the wallets. In fact, UPI, all the wallets. Now UPI is recruiting, and even we are talking about NHAI intermediate. So they are talking about GST collection. The moment the truck enters into a toll gate, the GST gets charged composite charging through the fact that you don't pay GST. You just load your FASTag and then you move the truck. And when the moment you enter the toll gate, GST and the toll charges both are actually are charged at a time. That's a great innovation in fintech. India has done. That's a fantastic innovation that is being implemented now in Nagaland. So to start with, implemented in Nagaland, Northeast, it's to Dimapur, between Dimapur to Assam, Assam border, some toll gate is there. There, the pilot project is going on. So therefore, we are looking at youth learning fintech. At the same time, they have to combine the same with the forensic, fintech regulatory aspect. Alone, fintech will not help. The regulatory aspect will have to combine with even the technology regulations. So, though I'm a BTech, I don't have to learn the regulation. It won't work like that. That BTech with some kind of a fintech regulatory knowledge is required. So otherwise, it will be it will not be a successful pitch, to start with. Now, lastly, the point I would like to address here is how well blockchain can help. Well, and how blockchain can take on the challenges of fintech. They can. Why? Because they are immutable, and all fintech footprints are recorded, and you don't go to the deep web and dark web for the footprints, and you actually look at the the transactions being on blockchain, and you can pull them up. And today we are talking about Alexa, pay. There is one application. Alexa, pay my phone bill. Okay, great. Now what will happen? Instead of paying the phone bill, it ends up paying some other bill, and some problem is there. So what happens? Then you have tower dump technology. When you're talking through over phone, the police can actually capture within 14 days whatever is being spoken from that particular telephone number. The through tower dump technology, you can download all the all the interaction that you have, verbal interaction that you have. Now, this tower dump technology has to be integrated with Alexa. What you told Alexa, or whatever is the voice app. There is one wallet that has come up, where I support Chat GPT, but then the student intelligence has to be intact, though they are using Chat GPT. You tell something verbally and you try to solve a particular equation in a and that gets into malpractice in one of the examination. That has happened very recently in Karnataka, and that is again it is one of the fintech wallet. How you ask a question and they'll charge the money from your Paytm or whatever wallet you have to integrate two wallets. So wallet integrations, wallet integrating couple of wallets to your own platform and then charging money, and then this is where the challenges are. Regulators are required here, and well, with the regulators playing a sincere role, and students are also aware that don't straight away get into this fintech, MBA fintech, BBA fintech with as I said, the regulatory knowledge and the forensic knowledge that will do. Alone, standalone will not do. And the future for fintech in India is still 50-50, and you need good regulations. Scams have to be controlled. Today, cybercrime rate is more than any other country. We have our cybercrime rate is much higher than Nigeria, much higher than even China. So our cybercrime rate is much higher. We are the victims. So we have to first of all understand what kind of fintech market we need to have. So RBI has started digital money. It's a flop. And how many people have used digital money, RBI digital currency? So that is because they have not put it in the over the counter. Still, we are talking about fiat money. So fintech as a whole subject, if you see, India is still lagging behind. We need to do a regulator, especially the regulator. They have to do really well, and our police department training is also not good. So here is the space for those people who learn fintech. They can enter into the regulator role. They can be hired by the police department. They can be hired by the government. They can be hired by, there are so many government jobs on contract basis. There they pay very well. You enter there in that particular, with the regulator, and other than the private commercial wallets, because they don't pay much. This is the reality, and this is the scenario. Dr. Karthikeyan, I may be sounding very pessimistic and bitter, but this is the reality. And being a chairman of Blockchain Council of India, and also have been looking at various cyber crimes and forensic evidences, cyber forensics, and the depth that I have understood is you are a BTech and MBA in fintech, then you learn cyber forensics. So Coursera can give a lot of contribution. In fact, I must say, Coursera to come up with integrated courses like cyber intelligence and cyber forensics, cyber counter intelligence. These are the courses rather than plain vanilla courses. I know Coursera has done other than plain vanilla, exotic courses are there. These, my words could sound exotic, but then they're the need of the hour. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, as you said, fintech is currently transforming the entire financial sector. If it is comes with the proper regulatory policies, then that will be a biggest success in the market. Also, this fintech promotes automation and automatically drives more businesses online. We hope, I guess, right? So next, I would like to move on to the Prince. Prince, special question to you. Can you share your experience of being Africa's first postgraduate awarded fellowship? And what are the educational challenges in Africa? And how can we take the initiatives to address them?
Thank you so much. My experience as Narupa's fellowship was a very wonderful one. At initial stage, I didn't know I was the first person to be awarded such a program from Africa. I just tried to put in my best. So during the first interview, nobody told me that if you made it to the next interview, best of luck. So I made it to the second interview. and finally I got the program. Along the line, I was able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to the institutions. I was also awarded a scholarship, 100%. My appreciation continued to go into the Naropa Fellowship institutions and India as a country. Because if I have to come from Africa and I awarded a scholarship 100%, where we have some other citizens of the same country who are paying. So I give that appreciation to them. It is quite challenging, but through my resilience, commitment, and focus, I was able to graduate. Because of the hour differentiation between India and Nigeria, about 4 hours difference. India is ahead of Nigeria. 4.5 hour difference. So India ahead. So majority of the lectures start as far like 6 a.m., 10 a.m., depends on the times they schedule for the lecture. But for me, in my country, sometimes I wake up around 3 a.m. and start my lecture. 4 a.m. I start my lecture. At most, maybe 5:30. It is a difficult task, but I said to myself, I am not going to quit. And what is that inspiration? It is resilience. I cannot fail. I cannot quit. I woke up in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Sometimes we have a kind of intersection lecture from US. Those lectures fall between 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for me. I did this for 1 year. And I graduated. It was when we started the program, I was informed that, do you know you are the first person to be awarded this program from Africa? And even to get a scholarship? That you are the first person. And that is an inspiration for me. No, I don't want to fail. I cannot fail. If I fail, it's not only Nigeria that failed, Africa has failed because I'm now representing a continent in that institutions. So that was my inspirations. And regarding my team, my cohort. So we are good to go. I meet wonderful people all over the world, from India, across various east, north, and south of India. Team spirit kept us going. And in the end, we achieved a better result because we graduated. We are more than 20 students that graduated as a first set. But unfortunately, the COVID-19 stepped it down for me. I was not able to make it down to India. At the embassy, they raised the COVID-19 alarm and restriction to travel to India. So for 1 year, it was a virtual program for me, and I graduated. I was given my certificate. I'm still hoping to come to India, where I can attend any of the convocation in the nearest future, because the institution gave me that opportunity. That anytime you want to come, you come ahead, you can join in next of the site and continue with them. That program specifically changed my life, even in the contract moment, because it focused on leadership and entrepreneur, where you have to learn about incubation, the startup, where you have to learn about how to prepare BMS, business model canvas. If you are coming as an entrepreneur, as a youth, so it's a lot of things. So it's a wonderful experience for me. And for me, I will always want to come back to do one thing or the other in Ladakh, or probably at Naropa Fellowship, and make my input, not just to acquire knowledge, to also impart from the African perspective. So going to the questions of challenges of education in Africa, it's enormous, it's massive, and because I would call it a poor country or a developing country from Africa, a lot of people are migrating in search of education. Why are they migrating? We need to ask ourselves that question. Africa don't need much to develop education system because of the currency of Africa is not that strong, like pounds, like US dollar, like euros. You only need to send little money to Africa and develop the continent. But people are migrating out of Africa because of certain challenges, which has to do with teaching facility, technical capacities. You are teaching somebody in a science class, the science laboratory or research institution is not well equipped. What do you want to come out of that student? So this is one of the challenges in Africa, in Nigeria, where you need a kind of bilateral relationship from Asia's perspective, from other countries. The issue of illiteracy is also high. Out of school are still very high in Africa. It's still very high in Nigeria. And that is why if you want to achieve the goal for education of United Nations, you have to fight the issue of Go 1 and Go 2, that is talking about fighting the hunger, fighting the poverty. When you see ordinary person on the street who ordinarily supposed to be in the school, you ask them why are they not in school. They say, coming out of the school today, I don't have food to eat. For that, if I go to school, I'm not going to feed in the afternoon, I'm not going to feed in the evening. Let me go and look for what to eat. Can we tackle poverty? Can we tackle hunger? If you want to achieve goal 4? Because this program is talking about innovation, institution, investment, industry, and incubations. 5 I's. We have to marry them together. We want people who are going to innovate an idea. They have to come from academic and technical perspective. How do we put them there? We need to look at what is the problem. Many people are still out of the school in Nigeria and in Africa because it's a developing country. So this is why you need international people to come and invest and limit what we call illiteracy or out of school children. So we are also talking about the teaching and learning environment where the standard quality of the classes, teaching environment is not up to the standard. I'm just taking an example like my country with more than 200 million populations. You have city center, you have satellite town, you have semi-urban city center, you have rural community, you have nomadic centers across the country. People who are nomadic, they are migrating for the pasture, for the pasteurization, to feed their animal. They're migrating from north to south to west to feed the animal. Those children who are nomad, their children, they need to get back to school. They may not be able to come to you. You take education back to them. These are some of the challenges in Africa. They cannot allow their animal to die. If there are no grasses to eat in the south, they move to the north. If it's not available in the north, they move to the south. You migrate education to them. You teach them. These are some of the challenges. The challenge is also that it is a Western education. Nigeria is multi-ethnicity that have more than 300 languages. As big as that. But the only official language lingua franca in Nigeria is English language. English is a Western language. This is also impacted on the culture. We have some number of people in the society today across Africa, they want to learn in Swahili. They want to learn in their own local language. They want to learn in Igbo, a typical language of Nigeria. They want to learn in Yoruba. They want to learn in Hausas, a typical African languages, not in English. When you bring English to them, they say, no, they are not interested in education. They don't want it because you bring a foreign language to teach them. Research, this is one of the challenges. Research have equally shown that when people learn in their local language, they understand better and faster than in foreign education. And that is why you see a country like Japan, they are bringing that into the system. A country like Germany, they are bringing that into the system, like Portuguese. They don't want you to speak. They want to teach you in Portugal. You have to know how to speak Portuguese. They want to teach you in Spain. They don't need your English. You have to learn how to speak Spanish. Along the line, English may be your second language. So we need to migrate to that. These are the challenges. Many people want to be educated, but they don't want to study in English. How do we convince them? These are some of the challenges. But in moving forward, in addressing some of these solutions, we need to improve on teaching practicals. We need to improve on our teaching aid. Teaching aid is one of those things that motivate children to go back to school. They want to see their learning environment in form of cartoon. Where is the energy sector to promote cartoon in Africa? Where is the energy sector to improve that technology to show the lighting system in academic environment? Where is that energy sector to show that this lab, this research institution is functioning effectively? We need to bring the facility that is going to encourage people to go back to school. They want to learn, they want to study, but they also want to be in an environment where they can smile. We need to do that. We also need to increase what we call, because government alone cannot do it. What I learned in India, what I learned in Singapore and Japan is that there are a lot of people who are doing volunteering services. They want to give back to the society. They want to give back to their university and their institutions. We have to promote that all over the world because resources is not always enough. It's not always adequate. In Africa, we need more people to come and volunteer. In the area of innovation, technology, investment, we need people to come to bring their own idea, bring your money, come and invest in Africa. Promote bilateral relationship. Let us strengthen the academic sections. You also need to promote what we call a kind of corporate social responsibility. India was able to get out of open education, as far as I know, because they implement what they call corporate social responsibility. Everybody has to contribute. For us to be able to achieve education sector in Africa, in Nigeria, Nigeria is bigger population. I'm just talking about the seventh most populated country in the world. Isn't a joke. Yes, I'm educated today. I'm fortunate, and that is why I'm privileged to be one of the guest speakers on this program. But there are a lot of thousands of people there who want to do the same, but they are not privileged. They don't have the resources. They cannot fund it. Education in Africa is expensive. It's not that free. It may be cheaper compared to dollar and pounds rate, but when you throw it to the capacity of people, economic status in Africa, they will tell you they don't have the resources. We need people to come and support to the corporate social responsibility. That will help us. We also need to take from the rich and feed the poor. The gap is wide, not just in Africa, across the world. You see the richer, they continue growing, they continue moving. The poorer, they continue getting below the ladder. From poverty to penury. It's not helping the system. When you have somebody who's above average in your area, I was able to send about 2 or 3 of his children to go and study in abroad because he has the capacity, spending like $10,000-$20,000 or pounds in a year or euro in a year. That £20,000, use it in Africa. It is possible. He's able to train or educate about 20 to 50 children. This is what we are not doing. That is why I say we need to take from the rich to feed the poor. The nomadic, we have to take school back to them. They will not leave their animals. That is the source of their livelihood. Take education back to them. Let them understand why education is very important. People will change. We can also bring bilingual learning system into the environment. If you go to Canada, it is bilingual. Are you able to speak English? Are you able to speak French? Or can you speak the both? We can bring that to our various country. Yes, I was colonized from British, and the official language is English language. Can you also compel one of my local language to be compulsory? So this will help us to be able to achieve development in Africa. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Prince, as you rightly pointed out, so the India's ecosystem completely is changing in the recent years. So the entire India is working towards digital skilling, upskilling, reskilling, innovation, and ecosystem, etc. Even government is spending more money on all these ecosystems, I hope. So with this, we come to an end of the panel discussion. As a overall, I would like to conclude like the convergence of the long-term synergies can help to create this ecosystem by bringing together different stakeholders and aligning their effort towards a common goal. The main purpose of bringing all different stakeholders towards a common goal is to create a new opportunities. The main purpose is to create opportunities for innovation and entrepreneurship and collaboration, which drive a sustainable economic growth and development over a long period of years. So I repeat, so when you align different resources and capabilities around the common vision and strategy, then organizations can create a lot of new opportunities for innovation, entrepreneurship, and collaboration. So generally, which will be one of the driving force for the sustainable economic growth that will take us to more development over a long period of years. So thank you for the wonderful panelists for discussing their vision and goal and their ecosystem towards a 5i. With this note, I thank the entire team of Youth South Asia and 3Q Sutantra for the wonderful opportunity for the moderation in the 5i International Summit. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Professor Karthikeyan. Before we go ahead, we shall just have the closing remarks presented by Mr. Naveen Chandra, followed by the vote of thanks by me. Over to you, Mr. Naveen.
Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you, all the panelists. I think at 27 minutes we have crossed our limit, and I think it's a very fruitful discussion and the wonderful information what we have captured today for to collaborate the 5 eyes together. So, Mr. D. Vinod, I thank you for your valuable time and being here with us for sharing your experience and the challenges and the opportunities what we are facing in terms of bridging the skill gap from campus to corporate. So, which Coursera is doing a wonderful job and extending more opportunities for freshers and professionals. So thank you for being with us. I think it's going to be a one big panel discussion even with the Coursera itself in upcoming days. I think that 60 minutes wouldn't be sufficient to to discuss on the challenges what we have. So probably yes, in the upcoming days we will have such a discussion. Thank you, Vinod, for
Thank
being
you.
with us. Saloni, I
Thank you.
think it's from being a student, learning and getting experience through the learning process. I think your valuable inputs matters a lot here. So once again, I thank you, Saloni, for being with us. And I think this is the start of a journey, and we have long way to travel together. We will be having a good collaboration with you for our upcoming projects and events. So thank you for sharing your um, information, knowledge with the panelists today. I think the students is going to be more, getting more kind of enthusiastic to work as like you to become more successful in upcoming days. So thank you, Saloni, for being with us. And Prince, I think it's great, great to hear from you. I think the kind of challenges you have undergone and being a guy from nothing to being with something. So that life journey matters a lot for people who wants to achieve something. Um, and also it's great that you are being with us from all over Nigeria to India. Yes, as you rightly said, we will also be extending our opportunities with the Nigeria and African collaborations in upcoming days. I think me and Shreyas are closely working together to bring such projects to have cross culture programs. Yes, definitely we are with the world. Let's bring the change together. So thanks, Prince. And last but not least, I should thank Dr. Vadapalli sir. I think he left the meet probably because of his busy schedules. So it's a great, informative for us to know what exactly happening in the market, right? So to bring a innovation, we should know what market is running is also about, especially in terms of technology and the product which we are implementing this technology. So I think that's very informative thing what we could able to get in couple of minutes from Vadapalli sir. I think we should get more such panel discussion or tech talk series from those kind of personalities in our upcoming days to bring a fire together. So Karthikeyan, thank you so much for moderating the event today. It's the big thing that we started off. Yes, this is a start, and we have a very long journey to travel along with the KPR University and with you. So thank you so
Thank
much once again. I heartily thank each and everybody present over here in the panel discussion and making the event success. So Shreyas, please, over to
Thank you,
you.
Naveen.
It's already
Dear
31
friends,
minutes long.
panelists, and thank you so much for joining us today, this afternoon, for the panel discussion as well. We have witnessed today's panel discussion on the convergence of AI. More than discussing more than technologies and innovation, today we have discussed upon the further developments and also the ethics behind it. And that is the whole concept of bringing in lot of aspects of socioeconomic factors, challenges that can be addressed at greater levels, and how we can start supporting and contributing to these changes. And I think we are sure the ecosystem of how we are bringing with KPR Institute of Technology, the students of KPR will be able to help us through different clubs, chapters, and also innovation cells in the forthcoming days, working on a student-faculty relationship cell in terms of bringing the peer learning and peer connect together in addressing these challenges and also taking this discussion next level forward. We have heard important technologies of fintech today. We have come across public policy as one of the important factor that connects all of us together. And also we have heard on the campus and student connect through Mr. Vinod, who has spoken about Coursera. The work you have been doing is commendable, sir, towards the society. It's not just an online impacting platform, but you have been doing great work in terms of helping the students to think one level beyond in terms of what they need to explore their next steps of education. I'd like to thank Saloni Parikh for virtually joining us from Gujarat and also adding us importance on the policies by the government of India, what is being recently brought about under the Prime Minister's chairmanship. And I would like to thank you for also, your support that would be extended in the forthcoming days to guide all the students and youth on the fellowship programs as well. I'd like to thank Prince to joining us for Africa. Prince, as I discussed last evening with you, we would like to discuss with the federal state territory capital, the government of Nigeria, for more initiatives together. The West of Africa has been doing immense work in terms of sustainability, in terms of technology, and also in the education side of it. I'm glad that Asia and Africa has a greater reach when we're able to connect together two youths together. And I'm sure, Prince, we can escalate this next discussion forward to having more academicians joining in from different African universities in the forthcoming days as well, and also having some events being organized with them. I'd like to thank Professor Dr. Karthikeyan Saminathan from KPR Institute for moderating this event wonderfully. It's a great way of bringing about the connect of the 5i convergence together, and I'm sure we'll be all discussing individually together for further partnerships and how we can explore some synergies, because this is where we are right now, and this is not the conclusion but just a beginning to step one beyond ahead. And we are looking forward for all of your support to host our next 5i Summit 2.0, and stay tuned with our next opportunities and next gateways that we'll be presenting to you. Thank you one and all for joining us this afternoon for the International Summit on the 5i 1.0. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.